Taurus ascendant, Taurus rising. This is G Allastrology. Welcome. This is your rising sign reading. This is going to be 5 points in this reading. We're going to get to these things. I'm going to point them out real fast, done and over with, so that you can spend time doing other stuff. First thing I want to mention is that your rising sign is not your birthday. Your birthday is your sun signs. If you do not know for certain what your rising sign is, you need to comment your birth digits below. I can find out what your rising sign is for you, and that does not cost you anything. But this is the way we build community. I want every person who watches a video here to be watching the right video. And when I say the right video, I want the one that's going to make sense for you in your life. Not just some random thing, and you think, okay, this doesn't make sense for me. There's a reason it doesn't make sense. They should make sense. And they shouldn't make sense where you have to force them to fit. It's not like some shoe that you really love the way it looks, and you put it on your foot and you're like, damn, it doesn't feel right. But if I just use it for a little bit, it'll work, it'll fit. No, this is not that. You don't want to do that. Your rising sign is based upon your birth time, your birthplace. All right, so comment your stuff below. Birth time, birth date, birth city, birthplace. We have an eclipse coming up, the 21st of June. So this is Taurus ascendant, Taurus rising. This eclipse is a new moon eclipse. So this is important because we're focused right now on, oh my God, there's an eclipse, what's going to happen? So I devoted a whole bunch of time, 3 videos to this eclipse and the overarching meaning of it. Now, this is for your personal understanding of what this will mean for you in your life. And so for Taurus ascendant, Taurus rising, the eclipse likely at 0 degrees Cancer, right, is the sun and the moon. It's a new moon solar eclipse, a new moon north node solar eclipse. So I'm going to give you the details on what that means. Gemini North Node is, well, North Node is first of all about where you're headed, where you're going. Has everything to do with the way you think, the way you speak, the way you communicate. So if you're Taurus ascendant, Gemini energy is typically going to be in your 2nd house. Now, Gemini is speaking, thinking, relating. It's also bartering, trading, commerce. It's selling. Gemini energy. Having Gemini energy in your 2nd house, this is powerful, Taurus. This is for the next 18 months. So if you do anything that has to do with you trying to sell something, something that likely would have to do with the way you can communicate, social media is a big deal with Gemini energy. But social media is a big one for Taurus ascendant, Taurus rising. The Gemini energy, North Node, 29 degrees. Now, let's get to the new moon. The new moon happens on the day of the eclipse. It's at 0 degrees. Venus is reborn on the 24th. Now, this happens in Gemini energy at between 5 and 6 degrees. This is in your 2nd house, likely. Having the Venus birthday is important, okay? When we know what Venus needs, all right, and we know it's going to be about Venus understanding, having a clear vision of what she needs for her future. So if Venus is having a birthday in your 2nd house, all right, this is all about not just your money and what you value and your needs, but a big part of it is how you now see the value in you. You know you have a level of your worthiness, Taurus, that you didn't have before. You attained it in the last 12 months. I want you to think back. What were you doing a year ago? What were you trying to do a year ago? And now where are you at now? You have this whole nother layer of value to who you are. You have a whole nother skill set. And of course you are, because you have Gemini there. Think about this. Gemini energy is very flexible, very mutable. It's like the jack of all trades. Gemini knows a lot about a lot. The thing about Gemini energy that's tricky is having the patience to stick with a few choice things and really work hard at them, which Taurus, you have no problem doing. You have the duration, you have the stamina, you have the work ethic. Obviously, there would have to be other things in your chart I'd have to look at. So this is a general overview. But typically, Taurus energy is this, I want to finish something that I've begun. And so understanding that you really want to hone in on a few things and become the master of those things. You can master more than one thing. So this is all about income, all about how I can make money. And likely the internet's going to be your friend. Whether that's YouTube, doesn't have to be YouTube, doesn't have to be vlogging. It could just be simply using Facebook by posting photos. Instagram, TikTok. There's just all these different platforms to utilize whatever it is that your values are that you can now sell, that you can make money off of. Talking, speaking, thinking, relating, right? So now that you have this new value of who you are, you're going to relate differently. You're going to be more confident in how you present yourself. You're going to be different in the way that the self-talk occurs, because there's a level of your own being. There are these degrees of who you are now that you didn't know before that exist. They've come forward. They're able to shine, basically, and to be like, I'm a little bit more comfortable now in my skin than I was before, especially relating in the community, because that's Gemini energy. In the community, staying close to home, relating with neighbors. This is great for people who are working at markets, right? People who are maybe trying to sell art, at booths and stuff, or going to fairs, within their community. This is great for that. I don't know how great this is for Corona, but the beauty of social media is you don't need to physically be somewhere. You can just simply post it and you can make sales just like that. Understanding that 0 degrees Cancer, we got to talk about that. This is where the new moon is in your 3rd house, okay? Cancer energy is all about emotional security. It's feminine energy. It's who you are relating with. It's relating with other divine feminine females. It's recognizing this divine feminine being within you and it coming out. It's a nurturing energy. It's being able to talk and to communicate with yourself in ways where you are supporting yourself on a more sympathetic and a more encouraging way, where you've come to the realization that yes, fear is there and will always be there. But how much power will we give the fear? How much of our energy are we going to put there? It's making a decision. It's making a choice that to build myself up, I have to be more encouraging. I have to be more understanding. I have to have more patience. I have to be more nurturing to myself. And when we can do that in a way, we catch it because we see and we hear and we witness ourselves doing it with others that we know, people who we see they need that. And it's almost as though we are bringing in a part of a degree of our being that we see us expressing for others and trying to bring and shed some of that beauty onto ourselves, some of that understanding, some of that kindness, some of those sweet words to cherish who we are. And with that, we will grow even stronger and feel more emotionally secure. And so remember, Cancer energy in that 3rd house, the 3rd house represents your community. It's the same as the Gemini energy. So it's all about community. Siblings is emphasized again. So this brings up, a communication with siblings, being more sympathetic, being more understanding, being more nurturing. Gemini and Venus are very much, they are siblings. Gemini energy is ruled, Mercury is the ruler. I know I said Gemini and Venus, but Mercury rules Gemini, and Venus and Mercury are very much these two siblings that talk all the time. I always see Mercury as a feminine energy. I know we are taught in astrology that it's masculine energy, but I can only share with you what comes through for me. Yeah, I really do feel that it is a feminine energy. All I know is I feel this, maybe it's now more than ever, because if you think about Gemini, if you think about the sign of Mercury, if you focus on what we're taught about Gemini energy, there's this duality nature. But right now, with what's going on in general, in the cosmos, in the world, if you look back in history, if you go back to the Babylonian teachings, matriarchal society is the way things were. And a matriarch society sounds like I'm saying, oh, that's all about females taking power. No, the matriarch society was about a balance of power between the masculine and the feminine energies. There was a recognition of the female's divinity, because it seems as though the recognition of the male's divinity is always present, never suppressed, but it's more of a balance between those two energies. And the sign of Gemini is that. It is it's the twins, all right? It's the masculine and the feminine. But right now, where we are in our world, where we are in our understanding of evolution, there is this divine feminine, more of this matriarchal pressing on a higher level of feminine coming through to reset and to establish a balance. When you got this scale and there's so much of this over here and it's overpowering. So you have to put on even more weights over here to reestablish a balance. And that's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this divine feminine energy coming through really strongly, where Mercury is bringing more of the feminine qualities than it normally would to recalibrate, to reestablish the matriarch society. Your third house is Gemini, but you have Gemini in your second house naturally. So we're talking about a lot of the same things. I'm not losing my mind. I'm on track. It's just another emphasis of the same thing. Communicating in a more balanced way, where it includes, when we think masculine, we're thinking non-emotional. We're thinking the other side of the brain, where it's rational, where it's logical, where there's not as many feelings involved, and it seems less nurturing. But this is a reestablishment of recalibrating the combination, the fusion of the two, of the masculine and the feminine. So having conversations with folks who could be siblings, neighbors, people in the community, could be coworkers, where we are thinking logically and rationally, but at the same time, we have intact our emotions, and we can consider both sides. We can have the feelings and the empathy involved, and we can be nurturing and caring. And I want you to make sure that you have a clear understanding of what your wishes are going to be for your intentions. Keep that in mind. That's number 5. But no later than the 24th. It will encompass so much. If you watch the video about the chart for the U.S., you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. I'll keep those links below. These are important to watch. We're really coming to the point where we're coming together, and we are choosing what sort of a future we want. We are deciding, we are choosing what kind of a child we want to have. So Taurus Ascendant, Taurus Rising, you got any questions? Comment below and I will help you out. Peace.